Greg. Hey, Greg, you see this? The microphone.
Is this thing on?
Yeah. Good evening. Why are we here? It's a shitty night out there. It's cold. It's icy. Why are we here? We're here for Jay Bender tonight, who in about 4 hours will enter his 81st year. But we're not here because it's his birthday, folks. Why are we here? Is it his... Arnie, I'm working up here, Arnie. It's hard. Don't put your day job. I know. Are we here because of his stature? Ravishing good looks? Cycling ability? Yeah, pretty good. Seriously. Jay Bender and I did the math. I think we've been... Steve, I'm losing you. Thank you. I think I've known Jay since 1990. That makes it a quarter of a century. I think I've traveled about 60 to 70,000 miles on the road with Jay Bender. I think I've roomed with him for the last 20 years. But we're here because... On the trips. Yeah, just on the trips. Well, we did go to the No-Tell Motel, had the rubber room one night with the goat, the rope, the trampoline, Olga Corbett, and 3 gallons of Wesson oil. But we're not going to talk about that tonight. You had to bring that up. Jay Bender is the dean of the Huntington Bicycle Club. Jay Bender is a loyal friend. Jay Bender's the guy who volunteers to teach people how to ride their bikes safely. He's the guy who takes time out from the rides he'd rather be on to go with people who are learning how to ride, to teach them how to do a century for their first time in their lives and give them some self-esteem. He is a loyal friend. Jay Bender, we love you. God bless you. Happy birthday to Jay Bender.
Not only is my neighbor, and a good one at that, but he's also one of my best friends in the riding club. Love this man.
Jay is always at the back, always wants to make sure that everybody's doing everything right. So we're on a ride. They make a turn. There's no signal from the front where Bob McLaughlin was leading the ride. Jay yells out, "Bob, give me a signal." No signal, Bob. Bob thinks for a second. There's your signal.
Jay, I got a song. Jay Bender, you're the top. You're a guitar like Bender. You're the nose on the great Jay Bender.
Jay Bender's been my friend for a quarter of a century. We share strong feelings about country, about family, about faith, and what? And Yankee baseball. I am so happy, and I count every day as a blessing that Jay Bender is my friend. God bless Jay Bender on his 80th birthday.
15% on you. But did you also know that I was on a ride with Jay Bender and he died? He died. It was about a year after Harry Peckham passed away, and we were on a ride. We were coming back from Bethpage, I think. We were about a mile shy of Jericho Turnpike. We were on, what's that, Plainview Road that we always ride on over there? And all of a sudden, we heard this horrible sound, which you know somebody got hit. And somebody screams out and says, the car hit Jay. And with that, Lou Bruno, do a selfie, Lou. Could you do a selfie? Yeah. Do a selfie. All right. So Lou takes off after the car. He chases him about a mile to Jericho Turnpike, but doesn't catch him. So, nah, he didn't catch him. So he comes back. He's riding with only one hand. And on the other hand, he's got a car mirror and body parts, right? And he's got a full description. Officer Bruno's got a full description of the car. He's got a partial plate number. So meanwhile, everybody is gathered around Jay trying to figure out what happened. I figure I got to take a leak. I go into the woods, one of George's peace spots, finish my business, and I look down to check my shoes that they're not wet, and what I find is a crank in the woods. So I walk over to Jay's bike, and I find that the pedal has been sheared from his bike. So I said to Jay, do you know the pedal came off your bike? He had absolutely no idea. So let me put this all together for you. Let me just summarize it, okay? The guy gets hit by a car riding 45 miles an hour. He tears the mirror off the car, tears the body side molding off the car, shears the pedal off his bike, and he's standing there. Tell me if that's not the truth, unscathed.
Unbelievable.
Is that true? He never even went down. So I don't believe in this. I don't believe in the supernatural, but the only thing I could think of is that Harry was looking down that day, and Harry said in the way that only Harry could say that, "It's not your time there, fella." So with that, I would like to just make a toast, if you would. We lost my landsman this weekend, Leonard Nimoy. So in the words of Leonard Nimoy, combined with the late and the great Harry Peckham, Jay, live long, prosper, have a long life there, fella. Happy birthday.
Alec here. This is Jay from I first remember about 1988. Wow. So Jay trained me for my first century. But if Artie's story about Jay, Mr. 9 Lives, I got a 10th life because we were on a ride where we're coming up to Jericho Turnpike and Jay gets hit by that pickup truck.
Oh, Mr. Safety.
Remember that, Bob? Yes, when he got what? Was sent 100 yards down Jericho Turnpike, got up and walked away. That was we thought you were
away from that one.
We thought you were dead, though. I'll tell you that.
I was in the ambulance.
Yeah, I know, but you were a lucky man. So I've ridden a lot with Jay, and every single ride has been totally pleasant.
And what do we call him when he had the flag?
Mr. Flaggett.
Flaggett!
That's my name.
I want to buy a bike, and they said, well, what kind of riding are you going to do? I says, well, I'd like to ride with a group. He says, you know anybody? He says, well, Huntington Bicycle Club. Okay, all right, fine, sounds good. How do I get in touch with them? And he gave me a little brochure. He says, call this guy, Jay Bender. That's his name on it.
Beginning of the end.
That was the beginning of the end, right. So he said they start their rides from Green Lawn Railroad Station. Oh, that's good. I live a block and a half from Green Lawn Railroad Station. So I walk over there one day, just to look. I didn't have a bike yet, to see what kind of bike. The guy, yeah, he was trying to sell me actually a hybrid. Because I said I haven't ridden since I was a teenager, you know. So he's trying to sell me a hybrid. So I said, well, I don't know if that sounds right. Let me go see what kind of bikes they're riding. So I walked over one morning over there, and I see all these guys in their pretty shorts and nice shirts. And,
Again with the shorts. We got the shorts now.
Get to the point. You got that part, right? Yeah. They were tight. So I see all these queer guys out in the parking lot, and I walk over to one guy, and I said, told him what I just wanted to, check out what kind of bikes people were riding, blah blah blah. He had a strange name, though. F something. F. What a weird name. These guys are weird. Anyway, so that was my start with the club, and and actually I can't say Jay broke me in. It was actually Terry Corzin who was my guardian angel when I first started. I remember I was riding the street with him. And then the other thing to talk about is how many years ago was that? 25 years ago? What? We did the double century? 20 years. 20 years.
Bob don't want to hear about it.
It's 20.
20 years.
7 of us. Yeah.
Bogus. Yeah. We can't do a double century.
Yeah. Who didn't do a double century?
I did 4 of them.
But did you finish?
So one year we decided to do a double century, a group of idiots, and I think it was myself, Steve, Artie,
Marco?
Jay, Marco, Barry, Salzberg, and Liz. I think that was the group.
And Ross.
Ross wasn't even there. He wasn't even a thought in anybody's head at the time. So we trained a lot for this ride.
Story on the conclusion, or just
I don't know.
No, it doesn't win. Never.
No, Ephraim couldn't make it. We got.
But I just have to say,
this is about Jay Bender. It seems to be about Marvin right now.
Jay did the whole ride, and he was sick. Literally, he was sick the whole ride. But he did it. He stuck with it. He finished it. I think he had a prostate infection. Or
Sharing. This is like
He hasn't gotten over that yet. But that's it.
He's talking about it.
Hey, Don.
If not for Marvin, I never would have finished. I was starting to fade at the end, and he stuck with me like a good buddy. And for that reason, I am beholden
I
to you.
hate to tell you, break the bubble. I couldn't keep up with the others.
Two people lying on the grass in front of church. And I look over, it's Art and Terry Clausen in their bike. They were hit by a car. It was a Sunday morning. So I look down on them, and Terry's going, Art, are we dead? And there is Father Greg leaning over them, and I'm saying to myself, Jesus Christ, were they wrong? In fact, they weren't dead.
In fact, they're here tonight.
Okay, by the testimony that one of them is here.
And what's this got to do with Jim?
Rebbe. Okay, it's a Yiddish word, okay? Rebbe. I'm sure you know what it means. It's derived, Rebbe.
Rebbe, yeah.
R-E-B-B-E. And it's derived from the Hebrew rabbi, which means my master. Okay, teacher, mentor, right?
You have to read this.
Personal mentor and teacher, right? There you go. I'm gonna. 15 years ago was when I went on my first ride. As a matter of fact, you were my age then, and I was 15 years younger, obviously. Then.
So you stopped aging and you kept going?
But anyway, so I show up on this ride. It was a 50 mile of a Sayville, and I'm on a mountain bike that weighs like 40 pounds. And we're 15 miles into this ride, and who's the sweep? Jay is the sweep. And I'm bonking, right? There's the ride all the way up there, and Jay's like going back and forth, you know. You all right? You all right? Okay, finally we get like 15 miles out. It's my first ride, and Jay goes, you know, you might want to consider turning around now, because you still got 10 more miles to go and 25 back. I said, thank you. I'll see you.
But it didn't work. You came back.
Your chagrin, right? Okay. But I want to thank you, and you're my Rebbe, you're my hero, and you're my Harry.
The ultimate compliment.
Tight shorts.
Anyway, we're members of the same temple, and Jay and I've had the pleasure of singing in the choir with Jay, and he listened, and I let Jay.
I saw you mouthing.
I let Jay schlep me along, sort of like he did on the bike. I depend on him. He's my choir mentor. But what's really nice is all these. Jay is also a teacher in the religious school, and he's got what were the kids like 11? 10 or 11, and whenever we're around there and any of these kids are around, they run up to Jay and they love him. Mr. Bender, you know, how are you, Mr. Bender? They really look up to him. And
They look up to Jay.
well, I'm getting to that. Anyway, everybody there thinks that Jay has this rare gift that he can like get into these kids' heads, you know, 11-year-old kids, and really inspire them and connect with them. But I have a different theory. It's because they're the same size.
I'd be remiss not to comment on Jay's, let's call it, dry sense of humor.
Yeah.
And that's what I like the most about him. He's got the right words at the right moment. And as we all know, we've all talked about how he often sweeps. He's often the sweep on our rides. He's there for our safety. He's there for our benefit. He's chastised us all for riding in the middle of the road, for not paying attention, for going through stop signs. I'm scared to go through a stop sign. I always check to see if Jay's on the ride before I go through. Or if we're taking a wrong turn when we cross over Jericho. But my favorite is when we're riding, we're all over the road, we're swerving, cars are blowing their horn going around us, and Jay very calmly states, "Let's triple up there." Jay, happy birthday.
Good evening, Jay. Happy birthday. I'm sorry to hear, as I've talked to our members at the table here, that you're not riding that flag anymore. Your flag brings me the greatest memories, Jay. I tracked that flag all over the country. And I forget which rides, Jay, whether we were in Pennsylvania, but I know from Lake Placid to Maine, we were riding over the mountains in Vermont, New Hampshire. We came, and I'm tracking Jay up the mountain. I'm eyeing that flag, and I'm getting up there, and I'm working. And at the same time, we finally get to the top of this rise, and I go down. And for the first time in my life, I can say to Jay, aren't you sad that you don't weigh 220 pounds? Because I went by him. And we came down to the motel at night, and we wound up rooming together. I took off this stuff, and and I put it in the bathroom, and next morning I woke up, it was still soaking wet. I don't think that I've ever been as wet or as tired in my life as that trip through I guess we were in New Hampshire at the same time. But I've told many people, and the only difference I'd like to see today, Jay, is that instead of the orange flag, you have the neon green flag. Even though I was hit twice, it was well worth it. I wish you a happy birthday.
Jay is my favorite. All I know, he's a sweetie. Sometimes he's not a sweetie, but most of the time he is. You know, all I know is that whenever I do anything wrong, Jay is there to tell me about it. Yeah, he's better than a husband. Yep, he tells me everything that I do wrong, but you know what? He does it so gently. He nudges. He lets me know. He's a good teacher. He tries. You know, me, but remember, it's from one teacher to another, so very often it just goes right over me. But you know what? He's always telling me the right thing to do, and he's really wonderful. The one thing that I remember about Jay, which I think it's traumatized me more than it has him, is I remember there was I like to just get up to that light. And there was one guy on the right, and there was Jay on the left, and there was this big opening. And I went right into the opening, and then I lost my footing, and I fell right on Jay. Now Jay was great. He was great, so I recaught my balance.
He hasn't had an erection since. Just saying.
Oh, God. Make me feel worse. Go ahead, Doug. So I was okay, but Jay fell over, and I haven't recovered since. I have felt so bad about that. But Jay was so great about it. He was like, he dusted himself off. He got up, and he was actually kind. I still haven't gotten over it. It was very traumatic for me, but it's it was that one thing. He's a great guy. And you know what? You know what's more than being a great guy? Jay took care of my husband when he was on a ride. And you know what? I have to say Don also. I remember the first ride I said, no, you can do this. I didn't want to go with him because, you know what? I wanted to go on the faster ride, and I sent him out with the guys. and he got a flat. Of course he got a flat. But I didn't send him with anything. What was the point? He didn't know how to change a flat. But you were great, guys, because you changed the flat for him. And look at him. He's just a great rider, and I really appreciate it. Jay, thank you for being such a great sport. Thank you. Love you.
I want you to look around at the smiling faces of the guys that surround you tonight.
I think the mic's dead.
And, of course, women, of course. You have their admiration, respect, and love. From our first century 20-plus years ago to now, you have been my mentor and my friend. Here's to another decade of cribs, laughter, and, of course, riding another day. Miss you, Mick. Okay. Now I got to do my part here.
I'm sorry,
Jay.
Greg, we're out of time.
I'll step down.
Wait.
Hey,
I'm high now.
I'm still there. Hey, I didn't know you were going bald.
Is that why you have hair on your face?
Anyway, Jay, you have taught me a lot since I started riding in 2001.
You don't learn well.
You've taught me to be a safe rider, to learning how to be a safe ride leader, and of course, staying within the prescribed miles per hour. You still amaze me on your energy level. I remember coming back from a ride in Stony Brook, and when the last hill...
That's the same as St. James.
Yes. We were in the last hill, and I was out of gas. And all of a sudden, this rider comes on the left, so zooming up the hill. I didn't know who it was. Was it Lou? No. Was it Paul? No. It was Jay. And Jay, you amaze me at your energy that you have. So anyway, I want to say thank you for everything, your perseverance and patience, and as Leonard Nimoy will say, live long and prosper.
Hey, let's hear from the women in this group.
Go ahead. You have the ball.
At the Bicycle Club dinner,
Stand up, Bob.
I asked Sue B if she was going to come to Jay's birthday dinner. So she said, well, she had to choose between Jay's dinner or get a new pair of boobies. I don't know. Boo something. I don't know. Anyway, but we see that she's here, so the boots went out the window. And although unfortunately she did get a, thank you. She did get a right turn on red ticket tonight coming here. So
let's hear from
yes.
Sue.
No.
Bob has offered to pay a certain portion of that ticket. So you collect your money.
I introduced it to my friend the judge over there. He says he'll take care of it.
As the president of the Huntington Bike Club,
Are you?
it's a pleasure. It's beyond a pleasure to work with my buddy Jay, who is on the board, and I always honor him, and I really mean this from my heart, as the main statesman, that person that I go to when I need advice because of his experience. And what more can I say? Jay, I love you.
All right.
The senior statesman of the club.
You've been a great teacher to the club. You've been as has been said before, you've been the new Harry. And that's probably the biggest compliment that anyone in this club could probably get. And a what? What do you want me to do? How's this? Is that good? Wait. You like that? Okay. I don't like it though. But you know, you've been a great friend. You've been a great teacher, and really a mentor to a lot of young riders in the club, and I'm sure you will continue to do that. And yeah, another 80 years.
Okay, so my experience with Jay started in 1997 when I joined Huntington Bicycle Club. Actually, between he and Mark, they're probably the two people who are most responsible for me still being here. Whether that's good, whether that's good or bad. That's a good thing. My first recollection of Jay was in helping me to train for the first Club Century that I did in 1998. And one of the things that he stressed along the Century was that it's not just doing the ride, but it's also enjoying it and seeing the scenery. So he would be riding behind me as the sweep, as always. And we'd go past things, and he'd say, okay, in that pond, how many white swans were in that pond? And then we'd go a little bit further, and we'd be riding down, and as the miles bear on, you're just hoping to survive, and Jay is saying, how many clouds are in the sky at this point in time? And but he tried to make you understand that it's not just riding for the riding, but it's also enjoying the experience and doing that. However, on maybe some of the negative side, I think that under Jay's tutelage, I think I became an excellent ride leader, following all of the rules. But on many rides that I've been on recently, when Jay has been my sweep, he has had a different opinion about my riding ability. He has criticized. He has criticized.
Classic words you said to him, Arnie.
I can't.
Come on, no,
this
really.
is a G-rated.
This is a G-rated audience. What did you say to our guest of honor?
Well, we have to understand. We have to understand the circumstance.
Take some courage,
the
circumstance. Suck it up.
The circumstance is that as a ride leader, I always give perfect hand signals.
Yes.
We're going left. We're going right. We're stopping. We're doing everything. And Jay accused me of not giving proper hand signals.
And what did you say to Jay?
I said, "Fuck you, Jay." I gave the proper hand signals.
Nobody's ever said that to him before or since.
Well, but I served my time.
It's like no sanction for a while.
I'm actually still on parole.
And did it serve?
But I have not had any criticism since.
All right.
But thank you, Jay. You've been a wonderful friend. Happy birthday.
I gotta say something. This is
Jay Bender.
This is the nicest, sweetest guy you ever want to know. And everybody's telling me what a nice guy I am.
We lie.
I'm the only guy that can elicit a fuck you from him.
That's right.
How nice. That can't be too nice. Anyway, as long as I'm up here, I want to thank everybody. People say, what is it like to be 80? Well, I've been 80 for a year. And it's no big deal. And for you guys that are sweating the age problem, it's no problem. Just keep on trucking and be healthy. And thanks again for being here.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Jim Bender. Happy birthday to you.
If I can't blow these out, I am going to be embarrassed.
Suck it up, Jay.
1, 2, 3, 4. Come on, you can do it, you can do it, you can do it.
I'll take the piece of cake around the sides.
Saturday night, I had the family party, and they gave me these damn candles that don't blow out. They came back up 3 times.
Jay, I can only say, luckily you don't have a beard.
Hey guys, I've said this 1,000 times, but I'm going to say it again because I truly mean it. I am blessed by having met all you people over the last relatively few years, and I don't know enough. I don't know enough to say about.
What is he, Moses?
Jay, you're right. You are blessed.
Thank you. Thank you.
God bless Jay Bender.